Most founders think exit value is a math problem. Revenue, EBITDA, growth, multiple, and that's where they get fooled. In this video, I give you the playbook strategic buyers use to determine company valuation and what you can do to maximize your multiple if you ever want to sell. I help founders and second-generation owners build companies valuable enough that people want to buy and strong enough that you never have to sell. Because buyers don't pay premium prices for potential. They pay premium prices for trust. And trust isn't built on your vision of what the company could become. It's built on what the business has already proven it can do without you. That's the hard truth. If your company still depends on you for clarity, standards, key decisions, momentum, then what a buyer sees is not just a business. They see risk. And risky businesses sell cheap. This is one of the biggest blind spots I see in founder-led businesses. The owner believes the company is valuable because they built something real. And they're usually right about that. But the market is asking a very different question. Not how hard did you work? Not how much sacrifice did it take? Not even how much upside's left. The market asks this: what happens when you're no longer in the middle of everything? That's the valuation question that most founders avoid until it's too late. Now, a lot of owners think buyers are buying the upside. They're not. They're discounting risk. So yes, EBITDA matters, margins matter, growth matters, but those are just the starting point. And after that, those come the discounts. Discounts for friction, for founder dependence, discounts for weak leadership depth, discounts for poor succession or uncodified execution, discounts for culture that works because the founder is still pushing everything uphill. That's what kills value. Not only is the headline numbers first, but definitely in the offer, definitely in the terms, and definitely in the buyer pool. Now, I learned this the hard way when we were in the middle of a big run. We just finished a record year at just under 25 million. It had taken a little over 3 years to grow the business from 5 million. We had property, sales, vertical integration, assets, global offices, a strong team. On paper, it looked like the kind of business that should command a strong exit. And like a lot of founders and second-generation owners, I believe that all the success would naturally translate into a meaningful value at sale. Then reality hit. Spent hundreds of hours preparing diligence, managing buyer calls, hosting tours, sharing the vision, recounting the history, and evaluating fit. We had multiple strategic buyers, real interest, real momentum. But once the debt was paid, proceeds split with the family, taxes were handled, and the actual structure of the deal became clear, there's very little to show for all my years of work and nearly 200 million in sales. And here was the worst part. The business still depended on me enough that I was required to stay on. That was a brutal moment because I realized the market doesn't reward sacrifice. It discounts your dependency. And that's when it became crystal clear to me that you can't afford to sell a business that still needs you. This is where culture becomes a valuation issue. Most people hear culture and think morale, engagement, vibes, company picnics, Christmas parties. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about leadership culture, the kind of culture that spreads standards, clarifies ownership, builds leadership depth, creates accountability, and turns execution into a system instead of a heroic act. The kind of culture that makes your business transferable. And transferability, that's what buyers trust. A strong culture doesn't just make your business nicer to run, it makes the business more resilient, more stable, more investable. It's more valuable. A weak culture does just the opposite, creates drag in performance and doubt in the buyer's mind. And that means weak culture hits your value twice. First in performance, then in confidence. And once confidence drops, the buyer either lowers the price, tightens the terms, or they walk away. And here's how it usually works. Friction lowers profitability, founder dependence raises risk, unclear roles slow decisions, processes live in people's heads, leadership depth stays shallow, diligence gets messy, trust drops, the multiple compresses, the buyer pool shrinks to employees, families, or competitors. And they always want the same deal. Buy it cheap and get you to finance it. Leverage disappears and the founder gets handed weaker terms. That's how culture makes a business cheap. Not because buyers are emotional, because buyers are rational. They know that if the business still depends on the founder to maintain standards, solve tension, create urgency, or make key decisions, they're not buying a self-sustaining asset. They're buying a fragile system. And fragile systems, don't command premium valuations. So here's the real question. Could your company run without you for 90 days and still feel strong, clear, and trustworthy? Not just survive, actually operate well. If the answer is no, then the issue is not the market, it's not timing, it's not your broker. The issue is that the company is still organized around your presence. And here's what that usually looks like. Key decisions still route through you. A few people carry way too much. Execution still depends on heroics. Succession is vague. Top performance depends on your pressure. That's not enterprise value. That's founder managed stability. That's founder dependence. And the market knows the difference. This is the leadership mirror. You don't get to build a company that depends on your constant presence and then act surprised when the market discounts it. You are the architect of what a buyer is evaluating. So ask better questions. Where is profit being drained by cultural friction? Where is execution still personality dependent? Where are standards strong only when I'm present? Who can actually run this business if I step away? Would top leaders stay through a transition? Would my family want to inherit this business or rescue it? Those are valuation questions. The goal is not just to make your company sellable. That's just too small. The goal is to build a company so transferable, so trusted, and so strong that selling becomes an option, not an escape. That requires real leadership, not more founder heroics, not more control, not more personality-driven execution. It requires a culture that can hold standards without you, a leadership team that can make decisions without you, a business that can breathe without you. Because that's what serious buyers are paying for. Not your story, not your effort, not your exhaustion. They pay for a business that performs without rescue. So here's the question. Does your company have value only because you are carrying it? Or does that value survive your absence? If it does, you've built an asset. If it doesn't, you built a job with revenue. And that difference is worth millions. If this exposes a founder-dependent risk in your business, take the leadership culture assessment. Just visit LEADER.ONE. There's a link in the description below. It'll help you identify where culture is reducing transferability, compressing value, and keeping the company too dependent on you.